Upon arriving at the designated bounty-gathering spot, MingHe was taken aback by the sheer number of superhumans assembled. He wondered if these individuals were awaiting the arrival of their missing teammates. Luo Kaixuan, a Moonglow-ranked superhuman, approached MingHe. He inquired if MingHe was alone and proposed joining the Crimson Eagles, explaining they were waiting for more members due to the dangerous mission ahead. MingHe, curious about their intentions, inquired about their ranks and requested verification through badges. Displaying his own badge, MingHe revealed his status as a Starlight-ranked intern. Instantly, Luo Kaixuan realized the potential risks of involving a rookie and advised MingHe to return and hone his skills further. As MingHe pondered the rejection, a familiar face caught his attention. Lin Yaoyu, a former classmate, recognized him and sought confirmation from their mutual friends. Weizheng, smirking, commented on the exclusionary behavior of the other group. Lin Yaoyu called out to MingHe, drawing him closer. She inquired about his discharge and expressed her surprise at hearing he had been in a coma. MingHe explained his urgency, stating his need to swiftly earn money for medical bills by hunting the mutant monsters. Weizheng sneered at MingHe's physique, taunting him about the risk of becoming the mutant's prey. Concerned for his safety, Lin Yaoyu urged MingHe to join their group, emphasizing the danger within. Weizheng continued his mockery, belittling MingHe's luck-based ability as only useful for lotteries. Lin Yaoyu intervened, halting Weizheng's cruel words. She reminded their old classmates of their shared history and the need to support one another. Lin Yaoyu encouraged MingHe to join, promising their protection. Despite feeling belittled, MingHe acknowledged the practicality of their offer. "I don't have much choice, especially with the authorities forbidding solo excursions. To them, I'm still the person who spent a year paralyzed," he mused. Liu Xinghong lightened the mood, suggesting they treat MingHe as a mascot, hoping his luck might bring them good fortune. Wang Xian advocated for MingHe's inclusion due to their past camaraderie. Lin Yaoyu elaborated, revealing the Superhuman Institute's requirement for students to participate in extracurricular activities. They planned to return during the summer to aid with the pollution crisis, cementing the necessity of MingHe's involvement. MingHe inquired about Lu Qian's whereabouts, questioning why she wasn't with the group. Weizheng, walking ahead, turned and taunted MingHe for still thinking about Lu Qian. He claimed she had become a celebrity at the institute and wouldn't associate with low-ranking old classmates. Lin Yaoyu intervened, praising Liu Qian's power and explaining that he had returned to Lanyang City to aid officials in locating the pollution source. She recalled MingHe's expertise in humanities and asked for his insight into the pollution's origin. As they walked, mysterious glints shone from the street sewer. Zhu Zheng chimed in, dismissing MingHe's high scores due to his lack of combat abilities, the reason he wasn't admitted to the institute. He argued that tasks like locating the pollution source were beyond their capabilities as they hunted cockroaches. Zhu Zheng's thoughts drifted to reports of 3 types of mutant monsters: cockroaches, maggots, and large rats, all dwelling in sewers. He speculated that a pollutant accidentally entering the sewer system might have triggered the area's mutant outbreak. Evaluating the mutated organisms, MingHe categorized them, deeming the large mutant rats the most formidable. Cockroaches posed little challenge, and he assumed mutant maggots, being smaller, should be easier to handle than the cockroaches. Lost in his thoughts, he failed to notice a looming, amorphous mass. It dawned on him that this mass was comprised of mutated maggots, a horde of them, engulfing everything in their path, including cars and debris. Lin Yaoyu urgently cried out for them to flee. MingHe belatedly realized his oversight. Maggots, underground parasites, thrived in groups and fed collectively. He warned everyone they encountered, urging them to escape, highlighting the approaching threat of mutant maggots. Su Zheng initially mocked MingHe for running, insisting there was nothing to fear and that they were there to defeat mutants. However, faced with the overwhelming tide of mutant maggots, he too was stunned into a sprint. They sprinted towards the building with reinforced glass doors. MingHe, concerned, inquired about Lin Yaoyu's whereabouts. Wang Xiaodan looked sheepish before confessing that Lin Yaoyu had stumbled. MingHe quickly turned back, questioning why Wang Xiaodan hadn't assisted her and beseeching the group to help their fallen friend. Amidst confusion and fear, MingHe rushed towards Lin Yaoyu, who was shouting at him to stay away, warning of imminent danger. Defiant, he reminded her of her own words about classmates aiding each other. Spotting a nearby fire hydrant, he acted swiftly, releasing a torrent of water that swept the maggots away, utilizing an explosive wave punch. Though he couldn't eliminate them, he managed to halt their advance. He offered a helping hand to Lin Yaoyu, who marveled at his strength, questioning if he was truly MingHe, while graciously accepting his assistance. Leaning on MingHe's shoulders, Lin Yaoyu noticed his handsome features, lamenting that he was already interested in Lu Qian. Despite this realization, she felt grateful that MingHe hadn't abandoned her. Together they entered the building, finding their groupmates already inside. The others hurried to their feet, anxious to know if Lin Yaoyu was unharmed. Zhu Zhen teased MingHe, claiming they had intended to rescue her, but he had beaten them to it, lamenting that he had missed the opportunity to be a hero. Wang Xiaodan inquired if the mutant maggots had retreated back into the sewer. MingHe instructed Lin Yaoyu to tend to her injuries first, emphasizing the potential corrosiveness of the mutant maggots' secretions and suggesting the use of medicated ointment. Lin Yaoyu assured him that her injuries were minor and wouldn't hinder her mobility. Relieved, MingHe assigned the group the task of looking after her, while he would inspect the building to prevent the mutant maggots from infiltrating. Wang Xiaodan reprimanded Zhu for their lack of caution, highlighting MingHe's rejected status by the Superhuman Institute. Both men responded with awkward laughter. MingHe examined the building's blueprint, then entered the laboratory. He passed through various vivariums until he reached vivarium number 9, which had a broken glass container with a mysterious substance seeping from it. Reading a notice stating that insects from vivarium number 9 had gone missing since December 30th, 2030, and that the case was under investigation, MingHe felt relieved that the vivarium's contents had been absent for half a year. He briefly pondered whether the pollution's source could have caused domesticated insects to mutate, but dismissed the idea since the mutant organisms primarily originated from the sewers. As he proceeded, he unknowingly stepped on a piece of paper describing the species intended for vivarium number 9. On the piece of paper, there was an emoji of a Leonpu pattern centipede along with text describing it as a massive centipede species originating from southern Peru. These centipedes were noted as the largest predatory centipede species in the world, featuring formidable jaws and remarkably long antennae. MingHe verified that the back door was securely locked. He assumed that the mutant maggot should have no way of entering, as there were no other exits, and the sewer system appeared sealed off. However, his attention was abruptly drawn to Dr. Zhao, who was outside the building. He found it strange that Dr. Zhao would be wandering alone in such an isolated area. He speculated that perhaps Dr. Zhao was living in the rundown building. Concerned for his safety, MingHe contemplated the risks of Dr. Zhao being alone. given that he lacked superhuman abilities. Suddenly, MingHe's phone rang, displaying an unfamiliar number. He answered the call and greeted the caller with a simple, "Hello." The voice on the other end belonged to Nurse Song, who inquired about MingHe's whereabouts and invited him to dinner as a gesture of gratitude for saving her life. She also insisted that he call her Big Sis, and mentioned that her full name was Song Lan, so he could address her as Sister Song or Sister Lan. MingHe explained his current location in the isolated area, and Nurse Song expressed her shock and concern, emphasizing the danger of the place. She informed him that the area was teeming with mutants, far more than the ones they had previously encountered. MingHe elaborated that his motivation for being in the area was to earn money and alleviate his sister's burdens. Nurse Song probed further, asking if they were biologically related. MingHe clarified that they were not blood relatives, but had grown up together in an orphanage. Nurse Song couldn't help but admire the strong bond between MingHe and his sister, considering it even stronger than mere family ties. As she conversed with him, she decided to take a shower. In the solitude of her bathroom, she pondered about how wonderful it would be to have a little brother as understanding and cute as MingHe. Despite her initial enthusiasm to meet him, she realized that his current work commitments should take precedence, so she suggested meeting another time. Feeling a twinge of disappointment, Nurse Song finished her shower and got dressed. MingHe, still on the call, shared his concerns about Dr. Zhao wandering alone in the dangerous, isolated area. Nurse Song gasped in surprise, questioning MingHe about the certainty of the identity and purpose of Dr. Zhao's presence there. He explained that Dr. Zhao hadn't noticed him, speculating that the window might appear opaque from the outside. Nurse Song, now fully dressed, revealed troubling details about Dr. Zhao's recent behavior. She described how he had become increasingly peculiar over the past year, displaying signs of fatigue, leaving work early, and even making mistakes during surgeries. She mentioned an incident involving a sample of a Calamity beast's blood sent to Dr. Zhao for purification, which he accidentally lost. MingHe was taken aback upon hearing about the Calamity beast's blood, recalling lessons from his previous classes. He remembered his teacher explaining that the blood of certain Calamity beasts, when exposed to oxygen outside the body, could cause mutations in the air. Some Calamity beasts' blood had an incubation period of up to a year. MingHe wondered if this incident could be linked to the mutations they were witnessing. Curious about the timeline, MingHe asked Nurse Song when Dr. Zhao had lost the Calamity beast's blood. She informed him that it had happened approximately a year ago, coinciding with the day MingHe had arrived at the hospital. He explained to Nurse Song that the Calamity beast's blood was likely the cause of the pollution, considering the perfectly matching timeline with the incubation period for mutations. MingHe strongly suspected that Dr. Zhao had been dishonest all along, and he felt confident in his theories. Nurse Song now comprehended Dr. Zhao's desperate actions. He probably realized his errors and intended to retrieve the lost blood to evade accountability. She agreed with MingHe's deductions, understanding the urgency of the situation. MingHe emphasized the danger of Dr. Zhao, a non-superhuman, venturing into an area potentially infested with highly mutated organisms near the pollution source. He urged Nurse Song to inform the authorities about the situation and insisted on stopping Dr. Zhao before he endangered himself further. Reassuring her that he wouldn't venture deep into the heart of the pollution source, MingHe left the group, promising to return shortly. Upon reaching his mates, he assured them that the building was secure with all doors sealed, protecting them from the mutant maggots. Despite their concerns, MingHe stated he had urgent business to attend to and swiftly left. Nurse Song tried to stop him, fearing for his safety, but the door had already closed behind him. Navigating through the streets, he noticed the motionless maggots, suspecting they were temporarily incapacitated. Determined to halt Dr. Zhao's dangerous expedition, he took a shortcut. In a narrow alley, he encountered 3 mutated cockroaches, swiftly defeating them before pressing forward. Eventually, MingHe located Dr. Zhao, who was on the verge of entering a building. Choosing to observe from the shadows, MingHe watched as Dr. Zhao stepped inside, only to discover a massive hole in the floor. To his surprise, Dr. Zhao had vanished, leaving behind a ladder descending into the depths of the hole. MingHe quickly surmised that Dr. Zhao had descended into the hole. Without hesitation, he leaped into the abyss, curious about the true purpose behind Dr. Zhao's actions. The landing brought him to a chamber lined with pipelines. Observing Dr. Zhao heading toward the Linyang water supply tank, MingHe decided to confront him. Emerging from the shadows, he questioned Dr. Zhao about his intentions. Dr. Zhao, visibly startled, faced MingHe's inquiry. MingHe pressed further, asking if Dr. Zhao had indeed purified the Calamity beast's blood from a year ago. Dr. Zhao, shocked by MingHe's knowledge, confessed to his grave mistake. He admitted that he hadn't intended to conceal the truth initially and insisted it was unintentional. Descending the ladder, he approached MingHe, pleading for understanding. In a shaky voice, Dr. Zhao, emphasizing his role as a life-saving doctor, confessed his ignorance regarding the consequences of his negligence. He clarified that he had come to check for water pollution in the area where the blood had been lost. Expressing remorse, he professed his desire to make amends. MingHe, concerned for Dr. Zhao's well-being, pointed out that as a non-superhuman, he should have reported the incident to the officials instead. Desperation overtook Dr. Zhao, and he fell to his knees, pleading for MingHe's assistance. He highlighted MingHe's strength, witnessed during the hospital attack, and revealed his fear of imprisonment. Dr. Zhao's family, he explained, would be left unprotected in his absence. MingHe, urging Dr. Zhao to calm down, emphasized the limitations of his abilities. He reasoned that acting recklessly would only result in further harm, allowing the mutations to continue spreading. Dr. Zhao, recognizing the truth in MingHe's words, agreed. Extending a hand, he suggested they leave the area, report the situation to the officials, and allow them to handle the matter appropriately. Dr. Zhao breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing MingHe's reassuring words. He inquired whether MingHe had divulged their secret to anyone. MingHe confirmed that he hadn't, advising Dr. Zhao to explain the situation to the officials himself. He then questioned Dr. Zhao about the lost blood in the area, wondering if it was the source of pollution. Dr. Zhao confirmed his involvement, but admitted that he hadn't physically lost the blood. He cryptically mentioned that there were complexities beyond MingHe's understanding due to his status as a student. MingHe sensed an underlying mystery about Dr. Zhao, but felt compelled to stay, uncertain of Dr. Zhao's intentions. Dr. Zhao began his explanation, drawing a metaphor between the city's pests and humans. Cockroaches, maggots, and rats, he argued, thrived in the city's shadows, spreading germs and diseases. Humans, too, were guilty of reckless reproduction, rampant industrial and chemical pollution, and a ceaseless drive for expansion. According to Dr. Zhao, humanity's actions mirrored the destructive tendencies of these pests. He expounded further, claiming that life itself was a mistake in the grand scheme of the universe. To him, a universe devoid of life was serene, but once life appeared, it equated to harmful intrusions, akin to bacteria in a healthy body. Humans in particular were likened to cancer cells, perpetually reproducing and annihilating the world with their expansionist desires. Dr. Zhao decried humanity's ceaseless destruction, reaching even beyond Earth to conquer the solar system and the Milky Way, leaving destruction in their wake wherever they tread. After his impassioned speech, Dr. Zhao questioned MingHe, probing if there was any distinction between humans and cancer cells. MingHe, baffled by Dr. Zhao's rhetoric, simply stated his inability to comprehend such profound statements as he was just a student. He criticized Dr. Zhao's viewpoint as anti-human. In response, Dr. Zhao tried to explain that in the human body, the immune system eradicates harmful intruders to maintain balance. But MingHe, still struggling to fully grasp the depth of Dr. Zhao's thoughts, couldn't fully engage in such philosophical discourse. The complexity of Dr. Zhao's ideas overwhelmed him, leaving him with a sense of unease and confusion. Dr. Zhao's beliefs seemed anti-human, challenging the very essence of life and its purpose. In the midst of this profound conversation, MingHe couldn't shake off the feeling that there was something deeply troubling about Dr. Zhao's perspective. The stark contrast between Dr. Zhao's calm demeanor and the gravity of his words left MingHe with a lingering sense of foreboding. Despite his own powers, MingHe felt powerless in the face of Dr. Zhao's existential musings. As they stood in that dim chamber, the air heavy with philosophical tension, MingHe couldn't help but wonder how these ideas would shape the world's future. For now, he had more immediate concerns, ensuring Dr. Zhao's safe return to the surface and reporting the situation to the officials. MingHe acknowledged the complexity of Dr. Zhao's beliefs, but resolved to navigate these intricate waters, hoping for a resolution that preserved humanity and its delicate balance with the universe. MingHe stood there, utterly bewildered by Dr. Zhao's twisted beliefs. Driven by what seemed like madness, Dr. Zhao continued his unnerving monologue, describing the universe as a sick entity, preparing to create something to wipe out humanity. He believed calamities, beasts, disasters, and catastrophes were the universe's immune response, aiming to exterminate the human race entirely. He couldn't help but think that Dr. Zhao had gone off the deep end. Attempting to steer the conversation back to the immediate issue at hand, he sternly told Dr. Zhao that his theories were straying far from their current predicament. He emphasized that they needed to address the source of pollution that had caused mutations in organisms, leading to numerous casualties. In response, Dr. Zhao removed his glasses, asserting himself as a healer, both for individuals and, in his delusion, for the universe itself. He proclaimed himself as the universe's doctor, destined to assist in eradicating humans, whom he likened to cancer cells, deeming them worse than the likes of cockroaches, rats, and maggots. Dr. Zhao shockingly admitted to creating the initial source of pollution as part of a sinister experiment. His plan extended to wiping out the population of Lanyang City before moving on to other metropolitan areas, convinced that Earth needed treatment and humanity warranted annihilation. Dr. Zhao praised his apparent naivety, which he believed allowed him to continue his malevolent plan, polluting the entire city without hindrance. In a desperate attempt to counter Dr. Zhao's deranged scheme, MingHe informed him that the southern suburb had been isolated and placed under lockdown to prevent the spread of the mutation source. Undeterred, Dr. Zhao sneered, suggesting a diabolical plan to contaminate the entire city through its water supply pipes. He revealed his intent to mutate all the maggots, cockroaches, and rats in the city, exploiting the city's reliance on the contaminated water for various purposes, including cleaning, showering, and street cleaning. He felt a surge of revulsion towards Dr. Zhao's horrifying intentions and made a swift decision to leave. Recognizing that Dr. Zhao lacked superhuman abilities and couldn't physically restrain him, MingHe expressed his incomprehension of Dr. Zhao's twisted logic. He urged Dr. Zhao to continue whatever sinister plan he had while he himself would be making his exit. This unexpected acquiescence shocked Dr. Zhao, who had believed MingHe to be a heroic figure striving to save the city. But MingHe shattered this illusion. MingHe retorted that he was far from a hero. He was just a fearful individual, rejected from the Superhuman Institute, unworthy of the hero mantle. Dr. Zhao, seizing the opportunity, revealed his plan to pour the mutated blood into the tank, ensuring that even if the authorities intervened, it would be too late. However, as Dr. Zhao reached for the vial of blood in his lab gown, he discovered it missing, realizing that MingHe had taken it. Infuriated, Dr. Zhao transformed, a terrifying metamorphosis driven by his experiments on himself. MingHe quickly deduced that Dr. Zhao had subjected himself to his own mutation experiment, evidenced by a bulge in the doctor's right shoulder. Dr. Zhao tore the bulge away, releasing 4 small, lethal creatures, each with razor-sharp legs. A battle ensued, with the creatures attacking MingHe fiercely. He managed to use his quick thinking and agility, stepping on the creatures and utilizing them as a platform to escape the hole. Upon landing, he quickly noticed concrete nearby and used his elemental abilities to block the hole, thwarting the creature's pursuit. As he sprinted through an alley, MingHe realized the enormity of the danger he faced. A mutated human, especially one as twisted as Dr. Zhao, would pose a far greater threat than any giant rat or other mutant creature he had encountered before. MingHe's mind raced, knowing he had to find a way to confront and defeat the transformed Dr. Zhao.